So March is Social Work Month, and I am a proud Afro-Caribbean social worker, a member of the Association for Black Social Workers. And I think, like most, I operate in multiple roles under this umbrella of social work, from therapist to business owner to mindset coach for Black women in business. I'm an adjunct professor. But regardless of all of that, I think to me at my core, I'm just a proud social worker, and I'm about to flood y'all timelines with some amazing social workers. It's inspiring action and leading change, which is the theme for Social Work Month this year. And I think it's important to have these kind of conversations because there are a lot of misconceptions about our profession. And I think that kind of sets us up to damage us economically and really restrict the perceived value of our field because people kind of put us into a box, but we're really capable of more than that. So it's important that we have this visibility because it impacts us both financially and personally as well. And I think it helps everyone else to see how else you can engage with the profession of social work. So to counteract that and to give y'all something to go with, I have embarked on this ambitious project to interview 31 social workers over the course of the month. And today I'm excited to introduce LCSW Laquita Brooks, who is the talk show host of Social Impact Sundays at 6, and really one of the heavy hitters when it comes to impact in the field. So it's so fitting to be able to start with you. So hey, how are you?
I am great. Hey, Amanda, and all the other social workers and other people that will be checking this out. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey. Yeah. So I love what you're all about and just your messaging around like, listen, we don't need to be bitter, broke, and burnt out social workers, and that it's important for us to change that narrative, which is what this is all about. I love that you're like, listen, we need to command our value, command that respect, and be well compensated for what you do. And you have an amazing series, a docu-series around that, the social work movement, and very much connected to your show Sundays at 6, which is awesome. And you're doing a lot of amazing things. So it's really a pleasure to share this space with you. And we're going to go right into it, Laquita. You ready?
I am ready.
Okay, so fill in the blank for me. Social work, inspiring action. I don't know why that is tripping me up, but I'm gonna get it by the time the 31 days is over. Inspiring action and leading change means what to you?
Having a vision and execute it expeditiously.
Oh, ouch. Oh, wait, break that down. Tell me a little more. What do you mean?
It means that all of us, or I would say 99.9% of social workers that go into the field, is that we have a desire to help. So it's already in us. It's who we be, it's who we are, it's how we show up in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But the challenge is sometimes we have imposter syndrome, or we're overthinking, or we want everything to be perfect. And what I'm saying is, you know that you're meant for more. You know that you came into this profession to help. So help. And that could be within your 9 to 5. But with a lot of us, we might have a 9 to 5, or we might run a business, and we have our different causes that we support. And what I'm saying is, execute, do something. Don't just sit on the idea for years and years and years. No, you have an idea, execute.
There's an expiration on your gifts. And she is just giving you the charge to do something about it. I love it. So, how did you get into this field? Can you share with us what motivated you to become a social worker and how did you get started?
Yes. So I had like my daughter was maybe like 3 years old when I was at a point in my life where it was like, okay, I'm a present parent, I could provide financially, but there was still something that was missing. And I was a full-time entrepreneur back then. So I made money from like 10 legal hustles. So I was the entrepreneur back then that had no clue. And I was like I said, I was a present parent, provided financially, but it was like something's missing. And then I went to an event, a Black Female Development Circle event, a friend invited me to. And that's when I realized I don't have purpose. So we sat on my couch, and from that, it was like, okay, Laquita, what are you good at? What are your strengths? And I'm a natural researcher. I'm resourceful. I navigate problems like none other. I've done this since probably middle school age. So it was like, you know what? Social work would probably be the best fit for me, just based on who I am as an individual. And like I said, I wanted to have purpose. So in combination with being a present parent, providing financially, becoming a social worker allowed me to also have purpose. So that's what led me to the field, because it only makes sense based on my natural personality, my gifts, my talents, my skills, my abilities.
I love that. And I think even that is a little bit different in terms of why people may come into the field. I think sometimes it's just because of like particular or specific experiences, but I love that it was about, what am I really like called to do, what's been just naturally good for me and this being a good fit. And I think social work is powerful when it comes to purpose. We do a lot of good stuff. Um, and I'm curious, how have you shown up within that in terms of social work? Like, what are some of the different places like that you've worked, and where have you enjoyed working?
Surprisingly, I started out in hospice, and I would say that was
Oh,
probably the most rewarding position ever in life. Now, I did not work with pediatrics because at that time my daughter might have been like 4 or 5, because I
mhm.
went back to school as an adult learner, full-time student, full-time mom. But I work with elderly adults. So they probably was like over the age of 70. So I really love hearing about their lives and their trips and their vacations and what they did for careers, and looking at the pictures of their grandkids, and just, I guess, being with individuals who know that their life, we all know that we're going to die one day.
Right.
They like literally had a terminal illness. So they really just embraced life and had a love for life. So I would say that was probably one of my best positions. I
Mhm,
also work with veterans, which was the opposite end of the spectrum. So
mhm.
where I work with homeless veterans, or we're talking about basic Maslow's hierarchy of needs, one-on-one, let's find you a place. So we couldn't necessarily get to the point of being self-actualized or talking about dreams and goals and aspirations and your more and your next, because we were focused on that bare minimum. And then in the entrepreneurial world, I've done so much, from speaking, I have a talk show, consulting, I had a government grant. So I've done micro social work and macro social work. But I would say the thing that I've loved most outside of hospice, because it really gave me an appreciation for life and just enjoying every day while still preparing for the future.
Mhm.
I love social work students, because I feel like that they are so important, because if we can catch social work students while they're still in school, and we can implant the idea that it's okay to make money and make a difference, it will transform our narrative completely. So I am an adjunct instructor myself also at a
Mhm.
school, and I love social work students because you can catch them before they graduate, and then depending on what their life looks like, because like we talked about, some become bitter, broken, burnout. And
Yeah.
I think that honestly, it's all about choices. If you know that you have to make $40,000, don't go look for a job that's going to pay you less. So when I graduated, I explored occupations that was going to pay me enough to be able to pay my bills. So I went into the healthcare industry.
Mhm.
Like, child welfare wouldn't have been a good fit. Heard it's a great experience, but I wouldn't have made enough money. And I can't get up in the middle of the night as a mom that's single to
Mhm.
go look after somebody else's kid, and I have a whole 4 or 5 year old at my house.
So it really had to align with the life that you wanted and the lifestyle that you wanted too.
Exactly. And with students, it's still that hope, that promise for them to be intentional while they're in school, so they can do the things while they're in alignment. Like, I even did a curriculum, social work career mapping, to support them with that, because it's just like, if you could just get this strong foundation when you graduate, everything else will be amazing in your career. But you have to have a strong foundation. And in order to have a strong foundation, you have to be intentional. So being
Yeah.
mindful of the trajectory you desire, and then also doing the things that's in alignment with that. So stuff I would
Mm.
say is my heart and soul. I would just volunteer with them all day, every day, if I was a billionaire. Okay.
Well, you on your way, honey, okay?
Yes, honey, I received that. Speak it into existence.
That's right. And I love it. And this really just fits so well in terms of the skills that we need, right? What do you feel is essential for us? Because talking from the school perspective, it is a great space to get into early on, because we really get to shape the possibility of what this could be. And sometimes, not even sometimes, for years, we've been hyper focused on just the profession and the skill, which is absolutely important and totally like really dope people when it comes to our skills and thinking about the complexities of the person and how they operate and how systems work and things like that. But we do fall short of what this could look like from like a business, lifestyle, financial sort of space too, right? So I will leave it open in terms of skills because that can go in any direction, but what do you feel is essential for the success of the social worker?
Having a vision and knowing what type of lifestyle you desire to have. So
Mhm.
even if you don't know exactly which arena you're going to go into, but if you
Right.
know that you're a person, like I'm not an office person. So I've always done community social, graduated in 2010. I need to be able to get up, go walk, go see clients, make my own schedule. Yes, you might have a standard schedule, but besides that, I needed that flexibility and that freedom for my own personality, my own well-being. So I think that a lot of times we just allow people to give us whatever they want to give us because we haven't necessarily really thought through what it is that we really desire. So I think the biggest thing that any social worker can do is getting clear about what you desire, what lifestyle you like to live, and what are those non-negotiables. And my two non-negotiables was because, like I said, present parent and provide financially are my number two values, and that has stuck with me pretty much my entire life. And now my daughter is almost 19.
Mhm.
Need to be a present parent. So that meant that I need to have a position that's going to work regular daytime hours
That.
and
Mhm.
flexible during the day, just in case she has a doctor's appointment, or maybe she's just being a good old teenager and I need to go pick her up from school. I don't
Mhm.
need to take a PTO for that, or I'm not going to take a PTO for that. I'm just
Not
going to
going
work on my schedule and go do it.
to. Mhm.
And then also when
Mhm.
it came to providing financially, I knew that I had to make at least 40,000. That was in 2011. So let's just give it,
In the case now, right, right. Bump it up, y'all. Double it.
exactly. So you can make more. But back then it was like, hey, my basic bills are 2011. It's not 2011, 40,000 in 2011 was going to allow me to pay my bills, pay for my daughter's dance lessons, and probably take her to like a Disney World, like a road trip. Not like vacationing in Belize and all those things we do now,
Mhm.
but definitely a quick 2-3 hour road trip, some hotel costs, theme park. And that was the goal. So I would just say, know what's important to you. So all the other stuff could just kind of fit in. And healthcare, like I said, healthcare was going to be ideal because it was going to allow me to hit my financial goals and I could still be that present parent. So be firm on your, things that's non-negotiable for you. Everything else, it was just, it is what it is. But those were like two key things. And I also knew my personality. Certain
Right.
areas would have been tough, like working in domestic violence. If I was desperate and destitute, then yes, I probably would have done it because you never say never. But
Mhm.
that would have been an area I would have had a challenge with, especially
Mm.
the
And it's
person that
funny.
I am. Yeah, and I'm resourceful. So I'm like, I think we all have choices, and there are tons of it might not be ideal to go to the DV shelter, but it's tons of resources available. So that would have been a tough population. So also knowing the things that you might have your own struggle with, and knowing those populations that you just might not fully be able to get. Not saying never, but
Right, right. It may not be the best fit. It may not be the best fit long term. And I think that's where we get to the space of like burning out also, right? When we're not in alignment. This was really, really helpful. I think even as a beginning social worker, even later in your career, it's still worth it to sit down and think about, have I been thinking about my non-negotiables and am I working from a place that's aligned with my values and what suits my lifestyle and what I want? Because I think we just show up better and we serve better. And like we really deserve that too, to be happy and enjoy our work. Like it's okay to be happy social workers. We don't all need to be burnt out, tired social workers. Last question for you. Finish your sentence. I wish people understood social workers. Dot dot dot.
can make money and make a difference, can have impact and income.
Amen. I co-sign that because it is possible. Beautiful. Oh, Laquita, thank you so much. I think, the path that you're creating for other professionals to see what is possible, that we can have impact and income is an important conversation that we don't have enough. So, on behalf of the profession, we applaud you. Happy Social Work Month, sis. I love it.
Yes, and thank you, Amanda, for creating this space for social workers like me to spread the message and get the message out there, because it's like there are social workers who actually are happy, who love the profession. And that's the exact reason why I did the social work movement.
Mhm.
Because you always hear about the bitter, broken, burnout ones, especially in a lot of Facebook groups, but you don't really hear the voices of the ones who actually loved it. And I'm like, you know what, at some point I want the voices of those of us who actually love the profession and who've leveraged our skills and abilities and degrees to do amazing things like yourself. I want our voice to be so much louder, to
Mm.
where all the other bitter, broken, burnout social workers are either going to get in alignment, or are they just going to, go ahead and do what they do, but they
Right.
will no longer taint our
Yeah,
students and have our students doubting going into the profession. Because that's the most aggravating thing for me.
absolutely. And listen, we could keep talking about this forever. Because even just the idea of like who you are around, because sometimes that bitterness will rub off on you, right? I remember for me personally, seeing folks in the profession like that, it was like, I don't want to be that way. And part of the reason I made a big jump out of my career into doing my own thing in entrepreneurship was because I knew that if I stayed where I was, even though I loved it and there's a lot that I got from it, that I wasn't going to be happy. And I remember saying to someone at one point, it felt like my soul was dying here, right? Like I was dying here and I didn't want to be there anymore. So I think we have to look at that. Who are we around? What's it doing for us, even professionally, personally? And then how do I get in alignment? Like, how do I go find the Laquita? So it's like, oh, I can get excited again because that's what we need in the profession.
Exactly.
But again, thank you, ma'am. And to everyone else listening, thank you. And by the way, where can folks find you if they are listening and they want a little bit more from you?
Yes, they can go to the socialworkmovement.com.
Beautiful, simple, powerful, clear, beautiful. Laquita, we see you. Thank you for raising the bar every day. For all you guys doing amazing work out there and impacting the profession of social work. We thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. If guys, if you're listening to this and this was like, oh, yes, okay, share this with somebody, right? I challenge you to tag 2 fellow social workers directly into this conversation. Again, with this idea of exposing us to more, right? Sometimes we need that. So I hope that you'll support us in making this just a commonplace conversation. Absolute pleasure. I'm Amanda Fludd. Thank you guys. We'll see you soon. And thank you again, Laquita. Happy Social Work Month, everybody.